Good morning, everyone. Mary Ellen Wazalewski here this morning. I believe that every adversity has an opportunity for us ordinary people to make extraordinary differences in our lives. So I was thinking today about getting ready for a run, and it happened to remind me of a story of many years ago. I was trying to lose weight, as all of us tend to try to do year after year after year. And I had read this story that, how do I phrase it? If you think into your vision so far that you act as if that already exists. So let me explain. On this particular case, I wanted to lose weight and I knew a number for which I wanted to get to. And so the theory goes, every time you get on the scale, you don't look at the number that is actually there. You look only at the number that you want to achieve. So in a gym, that's easy. You just put that bar across and you say, okay, there it is. It doesn't have to be balanced. On your own scale, you would just tape over whatever that number is, and you tape the number you wanted, and you'd look at that every day. So I said, all right, well, I've been like many people. I go up and down the scale, so let me try that. So I try it, and I go to the gym every morning, and I get on that little balance scale, and I put exactly what I want, and it's still not balanced, but I put it in there. And this goes on day after day, week after week. Until one day I have this epiphany and said, I finally get it. The reason that really works is because you constantly have the vision in front of you. And if I was to weigh the number that I wanted to weigh, then what would my life actually look like? It would look like a certain amount of time in the gym or a certain amount of exercise. It would look like I ate that way every day, that it wasn't a diet for just now, that it was a lifestyle. And I don't know if that really makes sense, but think about it for a minute. If you were to lose weight, you can lose it by stopping eating certain amounts of food, cut your calories down to nothing. But how many of us have done that? And then 6 months afterwards, 8 months afterwards, that weight is back on, and usually some extra. At least with me, it was always some extra. Because we treated it as a diet, not a lifestyle, not a change we needed to make in here. We were going through a transition. We were not looking for a transformation. We were looking for that Band-Aid. We thought we were going to get it permanently, but we never changed this up here. In between the ears, the most important part. Our mindset didn't change, so therefore our life didn't change. We did not become transformed. So why am I talking about this all today? Because it seems like we're starting to come out of the coronavirus to a certain degree. We are watching more cities kind of loosen up their reins on our quarantine. No one knows whether that's going to have another spike or not. But we're also seeing other consequences. Meat producers are having problems. Fruits and vegetables aren't getting picked. So the secondary consequences are coming on this. We have all been home for weeks at a time. And I've mentioned before, prior to this coming, with my coaching practice, I've listened to people over and over again. I just don't have the time for this. I don't have the time to exercise. I don't have the time to spend with my kids. I don't have the time to read a book. I'm too tired at the end of the day to stretch my mind. It's easier to sit in front of the TV or to have an alcoholic beverage or to do those kind of things. And so we had an if, but. And it got us nowhere. This quarantine comes in and it's not something we want. But is it something that we actually asked for? Is it something we prayed for? Like, please give us time to breathe again. And so many of us have. I see, I've mentioned it at least 20 times. I see how many men are out gardening and raking and doing their lawns. I see families with their kids walking. I see playing. I've heard of stories of piano lessons being done for these children over the internet. What a great thing that is. Different adaptions we have made. But are those adaptions true transformations, or are they a diet for right now? It's getting hard because we've been here long enough. We're in the middle of that reverse bell curve that happens as I talk with anybody who's grieving. Anybody who's going for grief for any reason whatsoever, go into this reverse bell curve, because you have to have the end of one thing before you have the beginning of the next thing. That all makes sense. And in that little darkness, or Alice's rabbit hole that we need to go into, and that we do go into, it's a time to reflect and repurpose ourselves and set a new outcome, because the outcome, whether we want it or not, has been thrust upon us. So it isn't what we do because of it, it's what we do now that we have it, okay? What are we going to change because of that? That's what makes a transformation, not just a transition. Do we really want to go back to what we had? Or do we want to be able to use this to reflect and change the outcome? Corporate America is now looking at how to bring people back. Many different companies out there have different plans on how you do it. I believe at BLT, I believe and promote that if the companies are not bringing you back and starting this new cycle of business as it starts to come maybe back into the offices, of being compassionate with the people who are coming back, that their lives have changed, to be very clear on what that company wants as outcomes, and to communicate it. Essential that you communicate to every individual what you're looking for them to achieve, and how do they fit into the total program of the company. That's not any different than what we need to do with our own personal lives. Matter of fact, I think it's even more important, because those companies can't change if we're not changing too. So with compassion, what do you want your outcomes to be? With clarity, write them down, journal it out, put it on a piece of paper, on a chalkboard. I'm really good. I found this new thing. I have a big mirror downstairs where I exercise, and I just whiteboard my mirror. You know, the difference between the goals isn't what we achieve, but who we become because of those goals. That was my mantra that's up there right now. But it's no different than for us right now, for us in this time. It's no different. How do we make this a transformation? We have been given an opportunity to reflect and renew what it is our dreams and our visions are, and to set them in motion, so that this is just not a coronavirus transition and we return back to all those things that really didn't suit us but look like they do, that that aren't giving us the new body, the new life, the new mind, but just being a temporary diet for a certain amount of time, that when we come back, we become gluttonous and eat twice as much. Will we go back and consume that much more? Will we go back and forget that we needed to have time with our kids? Will we go back on the corporate ladder and just go from this hamster wheel of ruminate, overwhelm, stress, burnout, and keep going over and over again? Or will we take this opportunity to try to regain and set up in motion our new lifestyle? It's up to us. It isn't easy, but it's worth it. I have gone up and down the scale a few times since that first epiphany during my diet, but I've never stayed unfit. I am in better physical condition because I changed and transformed my life. And then therefore I got to change and transform my body. But none of it came until I changed my mindset. In between the two ears is the most important conversation you will ever have. I hope you go out and have a blessed day today, because I believe every adversity has an opportunity for ordinary people to do extraordinary changes. Let's start with us today. Have a blessed day, guys.